Step into a world shrouded in ash and darkness, where legends come to life and ancient powers linger. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Forbidden Lands, embarking on an epic journey through frozen glaciers, volcanic mountains, and treacherous seas. Join us as we set sail on long ships, explore the unknown, and brave danger, discovering untold treasures that lie beneath ash and snow. So grab your weapons, sharpen your wits, and put your back into the oar, because the adventure begins now. We are currently in a flooded temple beneath an icy lake, and we are going to rewind a little bit. Just a moment prior to where we ended the last session, you all were trying to navigate your way through this serpentine path that is about 3 or 4 feet underneath the water. None of you can see it except Gunk, who has true sight going right now. So you are all being guided by him somewhat hurriedly, as he has seen shadows swirling and moving underneath the water. Gunk, you are guiding them as best as you can, but you are very distracted by these sights. And you have a little bit of a flashback to your childhood. This fear, it grips you deep down inside, and you can choose how you react to it, whether you master it or give into it. But it's a similar fear to what you felt as a child. What was that?
Right. So when I was a pup, this is before my colony left me behind. I grew up in this warren. I was around it beneath Kotsum, and I did not have a particularly joyful childhood, largely due to the circumstances of my birth, which we shall not get into here. But long story short, the elders of the colony thought I was an ill omen, and no one wanted to befriend me except for Tulip, who I've already spoken about. Anyhow, Tulip and I used to explore tunnels together. And our warren was built atop another warren, which was built atop yet another warren, and that one was built atop yet another warren. That was our way. We use, re-excavate, explore, scavenge, etc. So we would often explore. We'd find treasures, old and new, and mostly old, and we would find these passageways that were sort of long cut off from the central circuits of our warren. Passageways we were warned against exploring for one superstition or another. So one day, while we were exploring a very narrow tunnel, we heard a sound that made our furs stand on end. It was a kind of a low hissing noise, like steam escaping from a pipe. We pushed further, and we were looking for the source of this. We were curious. We were children. And we found something quite strange. Walls covered in this thick, oily substance that seemed to almost move on its own. Infinitely black, but also reflective of colors. And we did as children do. We poked it with sticks, and we watched it ripple and shift and move along the wall, and we followed those walls deeper into the tunnel, and we found a pool as dark as the walls. And then I was the one who disrupted the pool. I found a rock, and I skipped it across the surface, but the liquid was not water. It spread more slowly, as if it had a mind of its own, and then it began to grow. Huge beams and coils started lifting from the pool so that they were equal in height to my waist, and then my eyes, and then so very much taller than my eyes. So curious was I that I failed to notice that some of those coils had wrapped themselves around Tulip, who struggled for freedom and for breath. And as I tried to free her, this giant head of a serpent lifted from the pool, dripping the strange substance from its fangs and from its skin, and it let forth the sound, half cackle, half hiss, almost as if it was laughing at us, toying with us. Now, I thought about running, I admit this, but it was Tulip, so I began peppering the serpent with rocks that I now noticed were actually bones and skulls, and some crumbling to dust in my hands, and other rocks were slabs and shards, you might say, not natural, but hewn. They kind of had markings on them, carvings that were cut into them, runes and symbols from some long-dead war, and likely consumed by the very creature that we have awoken from slumber. Now, later I would start thinking about that, but not now. Now I harassed and angered the creature. I threw dirt into its pool, into its terrible eyes, and more than once I felt the wind from the near miss snapping of its jaws so close I had come to being devoured. And I cried, and I pleaded, and I prayed to gods whose names I could not even pronounce, and perhaps they listened, or perhaps my distractions worked, but Tulip eventually became free, and we ran. The beast uncoiled, and it chased after us, but we found a crack in the wall that was far too big for the beast, and we slipped in, and we wept, and we babbled, and we returned to our tunnels and our disapproving elders, and it was not much longer after that the colony left those tunnels, and in so doing, left behind me, but that is a different story. And so now I see these they're not serpents, but they are similar. They are tentacles, but they have that same darkness to it. The pool in front of us, different but similar. The writhing coils, similar but different. And I would say on the back of Bacho, you can just feel the claws, small that they are, just digging into your fur and into your skin, possibly even breaking skin, as Gunk is very terrified in this moment.
And you can't help but almost see with your true sight as these tentacles are swirling around. You see snakes, and they burst up out of the water, surrounding all of you. And for a moment, you see that same beast 6 times over from your childhood before your mind resettles itself. And we are going to jump into combat here. So let's go ahead and roll our initiative here. Go ahead and right-click on your tokens, toggle combat.
And thank you, by the way, to everyone in chat for all of those bits. Holy goodness, so many bits.
We're going to need them.
Beard comb is in play. Destruction is coming. That's true. That's very, very true. I've got to tell.
I did see you using it. I'm like, oh man, he wants to look good for this murder.
All right. So these tentacles will be operating in pairs independently of each other. And it looks like a couple of the pairs are going first. Would you guys like to swap initiative at all?
I think I will stay with 4 this time, the early one.
It doesn't look like it matters at all.
All right. So that means our tentacles will be going first. These are the 2 that are on Bacho and Gunk and Zaldrin and Mirren. These are both within arm's length of you, within striking distance. And they will be going for the tall people first. So we're getting one on Bacho and one on Zaldrin here, excuse me. And I will be rolling their abilities here. We'll do it publicly so you all can read it, but I'll read it out loud for the audio. Deathly embrace on Bacho. The beast ensnares an adventurer within near range with its tentacle and tries to squeeze the life out of them.
I will try to dodge.
It's not actually 11 base dice. That's a typo there. Yes, go ahead and try to dodge.
I got 2 6s. I'm going to push it. 3 6s, but I did get a 1, so I take 1 point of agility damage. But 3 6s on the dodge.
3 6s on the dodge. All right, I'm going to re-roll that because it rolled the wrong number of dice. So I will be rolling physical dice here. That is 2 successes. So you got it on the dodge. Describe how you're dodging with Gunk on your shoulders here.
Yeah,
so
go ask.
Yeah, what he does is Bacho sees that tentacle coming in, and he literally puts his arms up to protect Gunk. And he just pivots around, expecting to get hit across the back from this tentacle. But he goes low enough that the tentacle goes over him because he was trying to wrap around his shoulders and his neck. So he basically dodges under it.
All right. That brings us to the one on Zaldrin, which will be...
I do have a question because I'm just looking at some talents that I haven't looked at before. So does this attack move this thing from near to arm's length?
They are already arm's length. They can attack anything within near.
Got it. Okay.
So they basically have reach like you do.
Okay. I was looking if my spirit fighter came into
In this
effect, but
one,
it did not.
you see that there are like folds of the tentacle that just kind of peel back, and you see a barbed stinger, and it just pierces right at you, Zaldrin.
It's just rude.
With only one success. My dice are failing me tonight. Are you going to try and dodge, or are you good?
I already have 1 damage, so I should probably try to dodge. So I'm rolling move for that, right?
Yes, move.
Okay. Just for speed, I'm just going to roll it over here. 1 success.
That's enough to cancel it out because I rolled so poorly. Go ahead and describe how you're moving with Mirren.
So I am kind of doing the kind of holding on to the legs thing. And I'm just going to kind of squeeze tight. And I'm actually going to like kind of jump up and out of the way. And apologies to Mirren for the landing.
All right, and that brings us to the other tentacles. These are the 2 tentacles that are on the far side of the pathway there. Remember, most of you can't see the pathway, but these 2, they try to reach out and lash out at you. Gunk and Mirren, you probably see them the best because Bacho and Zaldrin are very busy. They lash out and they just can't quite reach you. You can feel like the air whiffing past you. You can see one of the barbed stingers coming at you, but it does not quite get you. Mirren, what are you doing?
Okay, so Mirren is currently not got her bow and is in close range, which is probably the most danger she's been in a while. So she's going to reach into her backpack and pull out a throwing spear that she's going to try to drop down to Zaldrin to use in a fast action.
You keep a full spear in your backpack?
Yes.
A 10-foot pole?
It's bigger on the inside.
Drawing a weapon is a fast action, yes.
Okay. So she's just going to drop that in case Zaldrin defeats the ones closer to her and needs to throw it. And then she's going to jump off of Zaldrin's shoulders and probably try to swim towards where she knows the exit to be. She can't see the path, but she's going to try to move.
So that's 2 fast actions. One of them will become a slow action then. And you'll be able to get... the problem is you can jump off and start swimming. That would be a endurance check for swimming.
Okay.
But the problem is there are tentacles kind of in a semicircle around you, blocking your path. So you would have to like either choose to go near 2 of them or try to like go between basically all 4 of them.
I would choose the 2 over the 4. And I do have hard to catch as a halfling, which I hope to be able to use as well. But that's if they try to hit me. Otherwise, then yes. So I need an endurance check to do a little bit of a swim.
That is correct.
Okay, I am not good at this. I've got 1 6 and a 2 and a 5.
All right. Adventurers who end up in the water make an endurance roll every 15 minutes to stay afloat. So this is plenty to last you the entire combat. And you only need 1 success. So you're good. You are swimming successfully. Would you like to go towards the 2 down below or the 2 up above?
I believe so. The far left, that gray box, is that where? No, we want to go towards the staircase, right?
Correct. The gray box is where you picked up the crown. The 2 down below, one of them seems to be occupied with Wofford, so you would be able to risk only one of them coming after you.
Okay. Then yes, I suppose I would go for the 2 down below that are slightly distracted by Wofford. I mean, Mirren is short enough that I believe the water, she can't even touch the ground very well.
You can just barely touch the ground with that platform.
Okay.
But you you have water up to your chin with your head back. Once you're swimming, you won't feel the ground at all.
Okay.
And you can get right about to here, assuming you get a good jump off of Zaldrin.
Yes. So I'm just going to go, I believe in you, Zaldrin. You can do this, but this is too close for me. And she will dive off and just make a swimming break for it down below and leave Wolford for hopefully his final demise finally.
Oh, come on. Wolford's great.
Sure.
Bacho, what are you doing?
So are these all individual creatures, or is this all one giant creature connected to these tentacles?
I am running them individually, but they are technically one giant creature.
Okay.
But basically, like, you can cleave a tentacle and it'll be gone, and there'll still be other tentacles thrashing around.
So my question is, though, if I hunt the creature, will I get the bonus for my kin talent
I would
for
say
the
yes.
entire thing? Okay.
Yes.
Then I will spend the 2 willpower points I have to enact my hunter's instinct against this creature. I will take my fast action to swing at the tentacle that just tried to get me, and the slow action to actually follow through with that. So that's melee is 3 plus 3 plus 2. So I get, for those at home, so I get 2 additional dice for my hunter's instinct. I get 1 additional dice for sword fighter. And going back to my skills, my stats are 4 strength and 3 melee. So I'm rolling 7 dice on my skills, 4 on my attribute, and only 1 for my longsword at the moment because it's taken some damage.
Not that many dice. Just like 1 or 2, right?
Shit. 1, 2. Okay, I do have a 1 on one of my strength dice, but I only got 2 6s, so I'm re-rolling anyway. That's more like it. 6 damage to that tentacle, but I do take 1 point of strength damage.
So you almost have to throw your whole body into it because it's moving so wildly. And your sword digs into it, but it kind of thrashes against you as well. I'm rolling its armor check here. All right, that is taking off. It doesn't matter. You are cleaving through this tentacle. So, like, as you're cleaving through, maybe the barbed stinger just kind of falls down and it just slashes you a little bit. That's how you take your strength damage as it retreats and pulls back, almost like a snapped tendon. It just pulls right back into the darkness. That brings us to Zaldrin. What are you up to?
All right. So Zaldrin did not take very kindly to this little barb, so she is going to attempt to cut that thing off with her spear.
I thought you were going to say you didn't take kindly to Mirren just abandoning you.
I have every faith in Mirren. I do not have a particular amount of faith in this roll here. I rolled 8 dice and got 1 6.
Gonna push it? Do you have any ones?
I do not have any ones.
Push that.
Go ahead and push it.
We're gonna roll all of those again, right? All of them.
What's the
You
worst
roll
that could
the
happen?
ones that weren't 6s.
No, they were in 6. All right.
Level 4
ones.
hype train. Thank you so much, audience. You are just so generous. It's greatly appreciated.
So awesome.
Thank you. On the reroll, I did get a 1, and I still only have the 1 6.
Oh no!
Was it a 1 on your stat or your gear?
Yeah.
It was not on my gear.
Or was it on your stat?
Was
Or
it
your
on your skill?
Is it the skill or the attribute?
Yeah, because we have different colored dice that we try to roll for skill, attribute, and gear.
Yeah, I forgot
if
when I
you-
was hastily
okay.
grabbing my dice just a second ago.
High or low?
Low.
I rolled a 4, so that is going on your stat. So you're going to take 1 strength as you're doing 2 damage, and I will roll for its armor.
Okay.
I've failed both those rolls. So you are doing the 1 damage. You are cleaving. You are hitting it with your spear, It's just like a grazing blow, and you almost like knock it towards you, and this thing is just thrashing so wildly that you just take a graze as well as it's coming back at you.
Got it.
Did you have anything else? You can still do a fast action, I believe, or you can save it for a reaction, but most likely you won't need it because most likely the tentacle near you has already gone. So most likely you won't need it if you want to use a fast action.
I'll stay put.
Okay. That brings us to the other two tentacles. One of them is going to go for Mirren here. And it just slices through the water right at you.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a fun one. Deathly Embrace.
Ooh.
The beast attempts to ensnare an adventurer within range with its tentacle and tries to squeeze the life out of them. All right. So I get 8 base dice here. And you know what? I have some great audience dice that I need to use. So I will do that now. Thank you, audience, for being so generous.
I don't think they gave you any dice, actually.
No, actually, I saw Griffin was very generous, and I very much appreciate it. My own
Ashley
wife,
even
however,
gave me
did
one
not give
too.
me dice.
Ashley
Gave me one too?
Yep.
Awesome,
Yep.
Ashley. You
I
are
mean,
so
just
nice.
because they're there doesn't mean you need to spend them. Just
All
for
right, let me
clarification.
As I've
Nope,
mentioned, I think they're just a GM pool for the channel, and so any of us can use them. Aaron, Steven, myself.
So you're
think
saying I
that's
should
what-
use
yeah.
them all this session?
No.
I gotta burn through 'em.
just for the players.
All right, that is 3 successes on you, Mirren.
Okay.
Dodging will be difficult because you're swimming. If you try to dodge, I'm going to say -1.
And then I've just popped it up in our view, but halflings are notorious hard to get a grip on, and they can easily evade even the most tenacious of pursuers. You can spend willpower points in combat to avoid being hit by physical attacks. So that would be 3 willpower.
It would take 3 willpower, but you can attempt to dodge first to lower that.
Okay.
Actually, no, because you used both your actions, and dodge would be a reaction.
I did.
I'm sorry.
So
yeah.
No.
So
I don't have magic, and I've been sitting on a lot of willpower. So I'm just going to use the 3 willpower and go bye-bye.
So this tentacle, it slices through the water, and it just hammers down on you. But the force of it, and you're so small, the force of it actually pushes the water, and you're able to just kind of lean, and the wave kind of pushes you away, so you don't actually take any damage from this thing.
You just see Mirren like bob down and bob up like a little rubber ducky.
She comes up higher and settles back down. Gunk, that brings us to you.
Is the one that's to my southwest, is that in arm's length for
Yes,
me?
it is.
Okay, so if that's an arm's
Because
length.
you guys were fairly close together trying to like navigate this path.
If that's the case, there's no way I can justify using a 2-handed like crossbow, but a singular dagger I think I could do, like a one-handed dagger. So I will attempt to wildly stab at it. I will stay on top of Bacho's shoulders for now, and I will attempt to stab at this thing that's right next to Zaldrin.
All right. You get your knife ready, and like I'm saying, this thing is so chaotic and frantic that you just wait for your moment. It's going to swing near you at some point, and then you reach out with your dagger. How do you do?
Okay. Sorry, just checking a few things. All right, so we can spend audience dice, right, to get these
to get an extra die. Yes.
Okay. I always forget, how are we treating that die? Is that an extra skill die? Is that an extra attribute die?
We're gonna say like it's basically like an artifact or a gear die, where if you roll a 1, it won't matter.
Okay, fair enough. All right, here we go.
I guess that would be a skill die where a 1 doesn't matter.
Gotcha. All right.
That's why I've pulled some special dice just for the audience when I need to roll for them.
Nice.
Very nice.
I got 2 6s. I also didn't get any 1s yet, so I'm gonna push and continue rolling. I got a 1, but I did get a 1 it was on my attribute die, so I'm good to go there. Or not my attribute, my skill die. My attribute die, however, didn't give me anything extra, so I still only have the 2.
2. Okay. And that reminds me, Melissa, you did push and get a 1, so you gain 1 willpower from that. Don't forget.
Thank you. I forgot about the good side of that.
Yeah. So that was 2 successes, you said, Gunk?
Right. So it would be a total of, I think, just 2 damage, because it's 1 damage for the dagger, and then the extra success I would just put towards damage. Yeah.
So I'm rolling its armor here. That is 1 success.
Okay.
So you have, your reach isn't as long, and it has this thick rubbery skin, and you definitely slice it, but it just doesn't quite cut deep.
He's just like, he's sort of still a little bit affected, and so he's kind of like gripping with one hand on Bacho's Bacho's shoulder, and then just kind of slashing out like, back serpent, back you serpent, just kind of slashing wildly with it. But he does get a lucky quick strike in.
It'll be okay, brother. We'll be fine.
They are so numerous. I did not know there were so many. I thought there was just the one.
And he's just sort of babbling incoherently here and there. But that's his turn.
That brings us back to the tentacles. The 2 that are beyond the pathway. One of them, I'm going to roll a move test to see if it can reach Mirren. And it can. That's 2 successes. All right, so we're going to do an attack on you here. The attack is drown attack. All right, so it's trying to grapple you and pull you into the water. So I got 5 base turns. That is 1 success, Mirren.
I would like to burn a willpower and just negate all of the work that you just did.
Yeah, I don't think you would like to be grappled and pulled underwater. I get
don't think I fancy drowning today. Thank you for the offer, though.
Quick question. What happened to Wolford? Did that tentacle kill him finally?
Oh, shoot. I forgot that attack. I'm sorry.
Dude, we're okay with that. We'll trade you Wolford for one of these tentacles. Like, if you want to just take one of yours off, we'll take Wolford off. I think that seems fair.
Yeah, that would suck. I like Wolford.
That makes one of us.
Yep.
However, I rolled this legit. The tentacle swung at him, and he was able to he kind of like cowered, and he was still holding the torch with both hands, and he just like went completely under the water. The tentacle flies over him, knocked the torch out of his hands. It goes flying, goes into the water, and then he pops back up. It's harder to see. I know, Bacho, I think you said you had a torch too. So I think you're wielding it with the sword right now.
Yep.
So there is still some light for you all, but it is much darker. And the chaos of this, that the water is splashing, the tentacles are writhing around, there's the yells of battle, and it's all echoing in this underground room. It's just deafening how much noise is happening right now. We have the attack that will be happening on Zaldrin again. Oh, and this is the Deathly Embrace again. All right, so it's going to attempt to squeeze the life out of you.
Oh.
And because I have so many audience dice, I'm going to throw one more on there.
It's just rude.
Is this still the same round, or is this a new round?
This is the next round. So you would have a dodger.
He's been trying to kill Melissa since Death in Space.
It's just so mean to target someone so heavily.
I rolled 9 dice. Guess got there. Absolutely none. 0 successes on 9 dice.
I'm so sad.
Wow.
That's just such a pity.
For that roll.
That hurts. It hurts my soul to see that. All right. Then we have, that's the 2 tentacle attacks. That brings us to Mirren.
Well, I believe I am just a little bit off of a platform right now, but I can't actually see that. So I'm probably just trying to do that thing when you're a young child who's skimming on the top of the water, trying to find where you first get to feel the ledge again on a pool, and just trying to find it. Considering I can't see the path, would you like me to roll
if you're trying to get a good distance away, then I'm going to say it's the retreat action where you'd have to roll a movement. if you're just trying to like move a couple feet to find the platform,
Yes.
you've been bouncing up and down in the water. We can just say it'll be a regular run where you don't have to roll and you just find your footing.
Okay, then yeah, I'm pretty much just looking for the next platform so that I can finally turn around and get my bow out to do that, to do something other than nearly die.
You find your footing here, and there's a lip on the platform, so maybe you're right on the edge to give yourself just a couple more inches. Pulling your bow out would be very difficult. Any ranged attack is going to be -1 because you are so deep in the water, but you could absolutely do that. That was your fast action, Len, to gain your footing. So you still have a slow action.
I believe it would be a second fast action to pull out my bow and notch it.
Yeah. So that'll take your turn then.
Yes.
All right. Bacho, you're up. That tentacle is still within arm's reach of you.
Okay, so Bacho will swing around and he'll be, "Where's Aldrin?" And he will swing away. So with my fast action, he's swinging, and slow action is, it's the follow through. So he gets the extra die for the fast action. 3 successes and a 1 on my attribute die. I'm gonna push it.
Live dangerously.
Go big or go home. Okay. 5 successes and just the 1 strength damage, but now I'm a little hurting. And I will spend 1 point of willpower, the one I just got, to make that armor piercing, bypass their armor.
Oh, so that roll doesn't even matter. This thing already got hit by the spear, it got hit by the dagger, and you are finishing it off. Go ahead and describe how you're doing that.
So he says, "Where's Aldrin?" And you see him, he's trying to pivot his shoulders around so that Gunk is not facing this tentacle. And he just reverses the blade and just kind of drives it into the tentacle and just scrapes it down until basically the tentacle peels apart in 2 halves. But he looks beat up now. He's breathing heavily, and you can see he's been marred by those tentacles, and he's got some bruising coming up around his fur and some blood. He's looking pretty rough.
But it has given you almost all of you, Wolford and Mirren are in trouble. It has given the rest of you some breathing room. The other tentacles are not within arm's reach anymore, and you can try to figure out a way to get across this room without them coming at you. Zaldrin, you are up.
Mirren will yell at Zaldrin, "Over here, the next platform's over here if you swim this way. I'm standing on it."
Exactly what I will do. Is I will attempt to get myself towards this tentacle that is.
You're taller, so this water is waist high. You could still swim in it if you want, which would be an endurance, and it'll also mean that you're like fully immersed in this water and you'll be freezing. Or you can see where she's standing, you can see where you're standing, you can attempt to jump to the other platform, and that would be a move check. And if you fail, then you'll fall in the water anyways.
I'm jumping, of course.
All right.
All right. So move. So there's 2 and 2. And we can spend audience dice for extra D6s?
Yes. And that'll be a skill die, so it won't matter if it comes up 1.
Okay. Because I'm down to 2 strength. So I'd like to roll at least the 5 dice. So I've got 2 and 2. Okay, so I have a 1 on my skill die, not my attribute die.
Okay, so that doesn't matter then.
Okay. I will
push.
Yes, I will. And now I have a 1 on my attribute die.
All right, so you do still take the 1 damage. For move that is agility, though, not strength.
Oh, I had an extra dice to roll then.
Did you still get the success though? Or was it a complete failure?
Well, I had an extra die to roll because agility I have 3. And I just rolled that and I rolled a success.
All right. So that was your only success though?
Yes, that was my only success.
All right. So you rush forward and you kind of slip a little bit on the lip of this, but you manage to recover and you do land successfully on the other side. Gain your willpower and take your 1 agility damage there. And that is a fast action. At this point, you would be within arm's reach of a tentacle if you want to slash at it or stab at it with your spear.
This is a kind of poking attempt. So, all right. So I've got, now this is strength. So I've got attribute. I've got skill. I've got spear. And I've got extra for spear fighter. That is 2 successes.
All right. You're not pushing?
Why not? I'm an
That's
orc
what I
and I
like.
have unbreakable, so
Yeah, no big deal.
yeah.
As long as you got a willpower saved up.
Deal. We have a generous audience, which is about the same. No additional successes, but no ones either.
All right. I am going to take an audience die to give myself a bonus to this armor rating here. What's that? I need new dice. That's still 0 successes. So you said you had 2 successes, right?
I did.
All right. That's a solid hit. Your spear really jabs through and kind of like rips out, causing it to gush out some like ooze and goo, and it's still thrashing about, but you really hurt it. That was your fast and your slow, so that's your full turn.
Yep. And I just sort of kind of, do a little sort of bro nod over to Mirren. Like, I got you.
What's up? All right. So we have 1 tentacle that will be on either Mirren or Zaldrin. It is on Mirren. We're going to burn through your willpower, Mirren.
Yep.
It is going to be sweeping against you. So you found your footing, and it's just going to try and knock you over entirely. Going to swap out dice here.
No, I like those dice.
And you know what? Let's use another audience die. Why not?
I feel like majority rules here. I think everyone loves those dice that you've got.
They worked so well, though.
These aren't much better. 3 successes, though.
Because I used 2 fast actions during my last turn, I cannot
react to dodge
reaction, and I only have 1 willpower, so I am getting swept.
All right, so it's weapon damage 2, so you're taking 2 damage. The actual successes I rolled don't matter for monster attacks. And you are thrown to the ground. Since you're floating, you're basically swimming again. To try and get your feet would be another move action.
The 2 damage, is that on like strength, agility?
That would be on strength, yes.
Strength, okay.
Yeah. So the rest of you that are looking, you see this tentacle just come up. And the first time Mirren, she's been dodging left and right, and she just was not prepared for this one. And it just slams her down. You just see her go under the water. She does start to come back up, but she's like choking on water, trying to get her footing. She took a big hit there. That brings us to Gunk. What are you doing, little guy?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So I can see the path, and
yes,
the path that we are on, Bacho and I, that's kind of moving north-south. There's another path just to our east. There's like a gap of water in between. How far is that gap? Is that like a gap that we
it's
could
definitely
jump?
jumpable. Absolutely.
Okay.
The tentacle there would be within arm's reach of anything in that path, like around that curve. So if you do try to go there, you'd be able to reach it, and it would be able to reach you.
So, considering I'm still on Bacho's back, so I'll probably wait for him. But instead, what I'll do is I'm going to cast a spell. I'm going to cast Lightbringer, and within near of me, So not arm's length, but near. I'm going to try to so Lightbringer, I can basically create light. And I want to try to create like a ball of light underneath the surface of the water right in front of where Bacho and I are, so that it would illuminate the other path. So giving Bacho clear sight of that other path. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense.
Is that a
is
reasonable thing to do?
Lightbringer? Yeah, absolutely. You summon a bright light, dispels all shadows in the same zone. It's supposed to be in the same zone as you, but within near. Yeah, you could
Right, but it's
absolutely
near.
light up that other path because they are.
Right.
Near. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna tap into the crown too, actually. As I'm gonna kind of, as my hands kind of start kind of rubbing together almost like this, and kind of almost like it's creating fire. And he's just going to breathe into it, and he's going to blow this ball of light down into the dark water. And I'm going to tap into the crown, which allows me to reduce willpower by 1 of an action. So I'm going to use 1 of my own willpower in the reduction to make this last for 2 rounds or 2 turns, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think actually, wait, turns is 10 minutes or something, right?
15 minutes actually for a turn. Yeah. That's different than combat. Yeah.
Yeah, let me double check the language, because I might not need to waste my own willpower then. It's 1 turn, so I won't waste the crown or my own willpower. I'll just use the crown. And so as the light forms, I'll just be like, Bacho, there, you can jump it, and I'll point down.
And you can see where this path is, so you can actually like summon the light underneath the water, and it dispels all the shadows there. It would light up the immediate vicinity for almost everyone, probably not Wolford, but everyone else would easily be able to see this pathway here moving around. Once you get like towards that Y intersection, it might be a little bit harder.
Sure.
But for now, everyone can see where your footing is.
Perfect. And
that was your slow action. Did you want to do a fast action?
There's really nothing that would be useful for me that I can think about in terms of fast actions. As long as I'm staying on top of him, which I think I'm going to for now.
Okay.
And like I'm not using there's really it just makes sense to just pass on it. So I'm good.
All right.
Now we get to see Wolford die.
I missed his attack again, didn't I? All right, so the attack on Wolford. Actually, he needs to take his turn and try to run away. He is making a move roll. Should I use an audience die for this too?
As long as it's a DM die, sure.
Yeah.
It's an NPC character, so it's clearly DM prerogative.
He did get a success. So he is going to be moving. He basically just ran right up to Bacho and Gunk there, almost bumping into Bacho. The sloshing and the waves splash both of you. But he did get away from that tentacle. That tentacle did have a turn, though, and it would try to move up and still go at Wolford. And it's going to try to pierce him with its barbed stinger. Rolled 3 1s and 0 6s. What is up with these dice?
Don't worry. If the tentacles don't kill Wolford, Bacho might after this fight.
This would have been a hard fight if I could actually roll well. Anyways, we got 2 more tentacles, and they're going to be able to reach Zaldrin and Mirren now. 1 on each of them. On Zaldrin, you are getting the barbed stinger again.
Bring it.
That is 2 successes.
I would like to try to dodge that.
All right.
So that's going to be 2 attribute die, 2 skill die, and a bonus skill die. That's 2 successes.
2 successes. That just cancels it out. So the stinger comes right at you, and you're able, especially being able to see your footing now, you're able to just sidestep, and it kind of like pierces right through the air where you just were, and then it pulls back just as fast. You're able to regain your solid footing, but it does not get you.
I just have the spear out, and I'm like, I've already seen that trick.
Mirren, it is going to attempt to grapple you and pull you under again. That is 2 successes.
Well, I can't dodge because I've used both my actions, and I can not really do anything. So, yeah, that's me.
All right. Do you have any armor on? Because you would get to make an armor roll for the damage. I forgot to mention that last time. No armor? Okay. So that is 2 strength damage, and you are grappled and being pulled under. How are you looking on strength?
I am broken.
All right.
That is all of my strength down.
E66.
Yeah, D66.
Damn.
Go ahead and roll it.
Now, is this blunt damage?
This is blunt. Yes.
66. Here we go.
Well, we might have our first character death here, guys.
Yeah, here we go. Ooh. Okay, so do I want the black Lord of the Rings dice, the white Lord of the Rings dice, or the purple dice?
Obviously black. This is, character death, right?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Did you take extra audience dice?
Oh, this is the critical hit thing.
It's a
Yeah,
critical
this is
hit.
rolling on the table.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Never mind.
Okay, so the you're gonna have to walk me through this because I haven't done this before. Do you want the total of the 66?
No,
one's
it's
a tens
like
dice
when we-
and one's a. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
Oh.
It's like the life paths we did, where one will be the first number and then the second one will be the second number. So just read them both out.
Right. Sure.
From left to right.
That would be a 10 and a 3.
A 1 and a 3 then? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, low number.
That's
good.
13.
breathless. Non-lethal, no effect steering healing, no healing time. So basically this isn't even an injury. You were just entirely
Drowning.
winded. Yeah, it fits. It's gripping you so tight and pulling you under. The air is pushed out of your body. Go ahead and refresh the drowning rules there because you are underwater and that might come up, but you're hurting. The rest of you see her go under too. That brings us to Mirren. It is your turn, actually. So drowning, you need to make an endurance roll every round to hold your breath. You start to drown and suffer 1 point of damage to strength until someone saves you. If you're broken when drowning, you die after D6 minutes. So if you fail this endurance roll, you'll drown in a couple minutes.
Yes, this is not great. All right. Endurance is also strength. You are broken and cannot act with endurance. So that's just.
Oh shoot! I didn't even realize that.
I don't have any strength and I don't have any dice for endurance.
When you're broken, you're knocked senseless. You can only crawl and mumble. Cannot perform any other actions. Okay, so I'm just rolling a d6 here. Do you want to roll a d6 or should I? I think it's fair that I do it.
Roll it and don't tell us.
All right. Like to live dangerously.
Oh, yeah.
All right. It is rolled. I'm setting it aside so I don't forget the number.
This is
It's not hard to forget one.
Now,
Anyways.
if you continue to take damage, do you continue to roll on the critical hit table?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time
I
you're
thought
damaged
so.
after you're broken. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's Mirren. Bacho, you're up. You see Mirren being pulled under. It would just be a move check to try and get across. I'm not even going to say it's a move, actually, because you can see where you're going. Seeing the platform, you can easily jump it. You have plenty of reach, and it's not a big gap.
Okay. How close to Mirren can I get with that move action?
If you take a fast action, you will be within arm's length.
Okay. So that's what Bacho does. He will jump over here with Gunk on his back. The benefit of
Yeah.
And can I use my slow action to grab her out of the water and pull her up?
That would
Gunk?
be Go ahead.
Gunk was going to say, like,
Take care of the tentacles. I will get Mirren.
because I think, just in terms of
Right. All right,
strategy
brother.
there.
So he will he'll strike out at the tentacle that has Mirren.
All right. Fair enough.
Since my strength is down, can I have an audience dice to offset that just a wee bit?
Absolutely. We have a very generous audience, so we have plenty.
If you fail, you hit Mirren.
Fucking kidding me. No, I got no sixes. I got no ones on my attribute dice, so I'm going to push it. How can you not get any sixes on this many dice?
Don't talk to me about that. I've rolled so bad tonight. Don't even start complaining.
Okay, I still got no sixes. But I am going to activate what's it called? My pride. Protect your friends at all costs. I'm going to activate my pride. I'm going to roll this D12. I got a 12. I think that's 4 successes.
Wow.
Pride. When you fail a skill roll where your pride is relevant, you roll an extra D12, include the result in the die roll. Of course, it doesn't have the table. I think it is several successes. Let
me check. I'll check. I got the book right in front of me.
Here it is. Result 12 is 4 successes. You are correct. Page 15.
Okay, so 4 successes.
4 successes. All right. You are attacking the one that has her. This one has already been hit. A good hit by Zaldrun. If it does not pass its armor,
and I will
you.
blow my only willpower to bypass its armor.
There you go. That's enough.
However, I did get 1 on that attribute dice, so now I'm down to 1 strength at the moment. FYI.
But you see your friend going. You activate your pride. You defend your pack. You jump. Gunk, you are in for a wild ride here as Bacho is just completely, and he brings his sword down and just starts hacking at this tentacle, doing his best to hit Mirren, but a little bit of that barb, to not hit Mirren, sorry, but a little bit of that barb just slides up because it was grappled around her, and you take a big gash to your arm, Bacho. But Mirren is cut free. You're cleaving through. She's sinking. But she is cut free.
But the entire time, Bacho's just going, for the pack, for the pack, for the pack. Over and over again as he drives his sword down into this tentacle.
That brings us to Zaldrun. There is another tentacle. There are 2 tentacles within reach of you. You have your spear with Nier.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do what I can to get rid of that tentacle.
The one on the right or the left? There's one going for Wofford on the left that you could reach. And I think you should go for that one.
Clearly the one on the right.
The one close to Mirren, maybe.
Yes, exactly. All right, so I do this again. Got my 2 of those. I've got my 3 of those. I've got 1 of those and another one of those and an audience. All right. I've got 2 6s. Do I want to risk it? Yes, because Mirren is in trouble. So I'm going to go ahead and do this.
You don't roll the 6s, just the other ones.
Right.
And keep track of which ones are your ability dice, because those are the ones that'll hurt you. Or your gear dice will damage your spear.
Uh-oh.
It.
Melissa said a bad word. It's only the 3rd time I've ever heard you say
it
one.
Doesn't happen often. It really doesn't.
Well, so that's 3 successes.
3 successes is good. And
and 2 1s.
2 1s on ability or gear?
On what dice?
Well,
Yeah.
4 1s, 2 on skill,
Oh my
2
gosh.
on attribute.
Ooh. Does that break
2.
you?
It does,
All right.
but I'm an orc. So
You're an orc, but you still take the critical injury.
If you break yourself on pushing, I don't think you take the critical injury.
I think that's
okay.
correct. I think that's correct.
Okay, my bad. So you are broken, but you're an orc, and you have your what's it called? Unbreakable. So you can
when you are
spend
broken
willpower
by
points
any
to
type of
immediately.
damage. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many willpower points are you recovering, or spending to
Uh,
recover?
We're learning.
I want to read this to make sure. For every point you spend, you recover. You can use it unless you're broken. I'm spending 4
Nice.
Right.
Smart.
because I have
Sovereign
4.
rages back.
I do.
And you had 3 successes, you said, right?
I did have 3 successes. Yes.
I failed my armor roll, so you're doing all 3 damage there. You give everything you've got, your last ounce of strength, to jab your spear into this tentacle, and it lashes out at you, and it would have hit you back, but there's just an inner rage that starts to build. You seeing your friends being so injured, Mirren under the water, and you use your spear that you already stabbed in to just thrust it away and wrench it out. And you cut off like a third of this tentacle just by pulling your spear out. It is still writhing about, but it no longer has that barbed tip. You just take it right off.
You will not be doing that again.
That's awesome. Did you want to move? You still have a fast action.
I suppose I'll move towards.
If you move, it would take a move check because it's technically a retreat. There are things within arm's length of you.
Then no, I'm going to stay put.
Okay. Wofford, he is going to make a move to try to get away because he has to retreat here. Wofford gets the best rolls out of this whole combat.
I'm going to kill him. If I live through this, he's dying.
He so easily jumps across this chasm right next to Bacho, not leaving Bacho's side, feeling like that's the safest place to be right now. Although Zaldrin is doing some pretty big damage.
Bacho barks back at him. Fight, you coward.
You know what? Go ahead and give me a manipulation right now.
Okay.
Actually, make it might because you're intimidating.
Okay. So that's better. A little better. Not great because I'm pretty beat up at the moment. No. And I'm not going to push it because it's just not worth the risk.
Wofford pulls out a dagger and he just kind of like feebly lunges at this tentacle in an effort to appease you, but it doesn't get anywhere close. All right, we have 2 tentacles down here. Mirren is under the water, so we're going to have one of them go for Bacho. Actually, I'm going to choose between Bacho and Gunk here. Bacho. And then Zaldrin will get the other one.
Now, I cannot parry these, right? They can only be
correct.
dodged.
You cannot parry monster attacks. All right. Both of those are going to be sweeping attacks on you. If they succeed, you will both be thrown to the ground. Gunk, that's bad news for you too. But I'm not rolling well, so you'll be fine. We'll take an audience die because I need it. Thank you, generous audience. This one's on Bacho.
How good you, audience.
3 successes here, Bacho.
I will try my armor check because I have no actions left to dodge. I do not successfully dodge, so Bacho is broken.
Oh, buddy. This could be it.
All right, D66.
This is blunt.
Green first, black second. $65.
Oh no!
Oh. All right. How many audience dice do we have? I was going to say this before. We can say 10 audience dice for a reroll on critical injuries. If you guys have enough audience dice.
We have 40.
Okay, I don't know if I was going to say that before Mirren rolled, but then we got into the mechanics of it. So, Bacho, if you are fine with your story ending here, that's fine. But you can take the 10 audience dice to reroll if you'd like.
I'll do that. I like Bacho. I don't want him to die here. 11.
11, that's better than 65.
That's way better.
That's as good as it gets. We just healed.
Still a head wound.
Saved by our generous audience.
Thank you,
you are
audience.
Thank you,
stunned,
audience.
Bacho.
Thank you, audience.
Non-lethal.
I forgive you, audience.
No healing time. So you are just knocked down. You just fall into the water here. Gunk, you fall as well. You just splash right in. Bacho, you're struggling just to keep your head above the water here because you're so feeble right now, but you are still alive. And now we're going on Zaldrin here. You know, I was going to take an audience die on that, but I feel bad after the last hit, so I'll go ahead and put that die back.
I'm
all back to full after
strength, so right.
All right, that is 2 successes here. It's trying to sweep you and knock you to the ground as well.
Okay, and I did not use my fast action, so I can still try to dodge.
No, you didn't. Right. You're right. My bad. Yeah.
Okay. So that is move. So that's these 2 and these 2.
Dragon at rest. Why did Steven smile so much? It's not because I'm happy. I smile in awkward situations. I'm not excited about this.
Sure.
He's having so much fun right now.
All right, and I'm going to take an audience, a little bit extra chance with that. Oh, no. Nope. No 6s, and there's already 2 1s, so I'm not pushing that.
So that's weapon damage 2 to strength, and you're knocked to the ground. So she's was looking quite a bit sort of resolute and, kind of back up. And then she's sort of looking down. It's oh. The rage is knocked out of you a little bit, but you can still use that fire to keep going. That is the tentacles. Gunk, you are up. You splash into the water.
Okay.
If you want to swim, it'll be an endurance check. Otherwise, you can stand up.
Well, I want to get Mirren out of the water, and she's been sinking, right? Is that my understanding correctly?
Yeah.
So I want to try to Baywatch her up if I can. Is that possible?
Yeah, I'm going to. You're not dying on my watch.
And I'm going to slow motion swim down.
All right.
Try.
I love the Baywatch. So the rules say swimming is endurance, but you are trying to reach her, so you can make a move if you'd like to do that instead.
Okay. My crown, incidentally, gives me +2 to swimming checks.
It really does, yeah.
Really
Artifact
does.
dice too.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm going to swim down and try to get Mirren. All right. 3 for that. 1 for that. And I get these 2 big old artifact dice. Okay. So that's the first. Oh, that's a good start. Okay, that's 3 successes.
3 successes. Just like the reruns. Gunk Hasselhoff is running forward. He kind of dives off of Bacho as he's falling.
Yeah.
Goes under the water.
You see a strange his blanket or backpack just kind of flies off on a string behind him because it's as he dives down in.
He goes down, the backpack's still floating up there. And he just rises up, defying physics, coming up with Mirren. She had 4 minutes, and that was only about 10 seconds.
Okay.
So she is doing okay. She's back up. We'll say that's a fast action to move and then a full action to bring her up. That sounds fair, right?
Okay. Is it possible that we can move? I can, when we're coming up or when I'm moving, to move her a little further away from these tentacle things?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's get you like right. How's that?
Yeah, whatever you think is fair. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. You'll still be within near, but you won't be within arm's length.
Sounds good.
And they can attack near, but they're going to go for the people closer. All right.
All right.
We're coming down to it, guys.
Or are we fighting?
I told you to look at the rules for fling. You are on the correct side of the tentacles now. So it's just movement checks to get out of the fight, if that's what you want to do.
Except for Bacho is unconscious and can't move.
Is unconscious.
And will start drowning. His turn.
We have one tentacle going right now. And it's going to go for Wolford.
How about Wolford? Did
Wolford
Wolford get to do his action?
He did not. I keep forgetting Wolford. I'm sorry. He would have made a movement check to try and...
Grab Bacho, come! Now is your time to be a real member of the party. If
Give
you
me a
save
manipulation,
him, just think of how you can hold this over his head for the rest of your time together.
Manipulation with +1, because that's a good argument.
Oh, I'm not good at manipulation. I'm really not good at this. But I'll take my +1.
Audience dice?
He already gave me a +1. I don't want to push it.
Okay.
You can take an audience dice. That's fine.
Yeah.
He's been throwing audience dice at us.
I got one success.
One success. You see Wolford. You came up, Baywatch style, and you saw Wolford, and you could tell he was ready to just run right after you. The heroic image of you coming up, carrying someone, and you saying that he can lord it over Bacho, something clicks, and he's like, yeah, I can be a hero. And he is going to grab Bacho with his slow action, and then going to attempt to make a move to get out. And he's been rolling well, so we'll see if he keeps going.
I also like to think, like, as Gun comes up, his like tunic has kind of spread wide, so you can see like his fur has been matted down over his chest, and he's surprisingly swole. You don't realize he's pretty ripped,
All right, he got one success, so he is hot on your heels there with Bacho. Not as heroic. Bacho's being dragged and floated as much as carried right now. He might hit
He's the door from Titanic.
Bacho is the life preserver. Not nearly as heroic, but he is helping get you all out. That tentacle will attempt to go for either Wolford or Zaldrin now. Let's roll for it. It's going for Wolford. This might be the end of Bacho anyways.
Oh no.
Only one success. What the heck? I've got one die that rolls sixes and everything else rolls ones.
So we need to replace that singular dice. I understand.
I feel like you already came in and replaced my dice. That's the only logical answer.
Oh, my bad luck goes to you.
All right, he doesn't have armor either, but it's only one. Oh no, it does 2 weapon damage base. So Wolford is broken.
Yes, roll that D66.
We'll roll it at the end of the fight if it matters. You may all die anyways.
That's true.
Mirren, you are still broken. Bacho, you are broken. Zaldrin. You see, Wolford was carrying Bacho out, and then that tentacle just hits him from behind. A barb just pierces him in the back, and he falls forward. Bacho is still like being pulled along this pathway. What are you doing?
I think I'm trying to just drag Bacho out, since Wolford can't do that anymore since he's broken.
Okay. Are you leaving Wolford?
So I'm envisioning a little sort of meat shield action where like I'm like moving Bacho along, and then there's me, and then there's Wolford, and then there's the tentacles. So like I'm moving everyone in the direction that's out.
Or Wolford.
Wolford is definitely between.
Just
Zaldrun
float
and
his body
tentacles.
into the direction of the tentacles. We'll trade you this. Just let the rest of us go.
Some
Fresh
free
meat.
meat.
All right. Make your move action to get away from these tentacles.
Okay, so
And this roll could literally spell the end of the party if you fail. No pressure.
Audience dice.
yeah. I'm not rolling that many dice.
Gonna push it.
That's 3 1s, a 2, and a 3. Now, the 3 are attribute dice.
Oh, that's bad.
This would be
Sorry,
on
no.
agility.
No, the 3 are on skill dice.
Oh.
All 3 1s are on skill dice.
Well, then if you push it, it won't hurt you with those ones.
Okay.
Just don't turn around and get 3 1s on your agility.
Right, exactly. That's
Melissa, I thought you cheated at board games. Why are you rolling so badly?
so I have 0 6s and 1 agility damage.
Ouch.
All right. You
This is not
get
going
going. You're moving towards Bacho, and one of these tentacles just kind of trips you up a little bit, and you spin around. You still have your slow action. It was just your fast action to try to get away. If you want, you can attempt another movement with your fast action, or you can make an attack.
It's just the 1 tentacle that's left.
There are 2 on you, and then 1 more a distance away. There are 3 left. Some of them
I
are
need to try to
very
move
injured.
again. Although I could go broken with agility. Because I only have 1 agility left. So
But agility
goodness.
won't kill you if you go broken. You just can't move. I mean, it's the same thing. We'll be in deep trouble, but at least you're not
All right.
rolling critical injuries.
So I'm rolling 1 agility, 2 move, and an audience skill dice. And that's all I got. I have nothing that helps me with this. No, nothing. helps me
Statistically,
with
you should get a
this.
6.
You would think. You would think.
I've been defying the odds all night, though.
That is 1 6.
1 6. All right. You get away from these. And because you weren't able to use your slow action, you had to use your slow action. You're not necessarily going to be able to grab Bacho and Wolford, but we can say like the impact of you pushing through this platform is enough to like move them and surge them. They're floating towards the stairs. The problem is now that you guys are getting further away and you can't see the walkway nearly as much. Gunk, you still can. The tentacles are further away. That moves us to the tentacles. All right. They're going to have to slow action to move over. We got a couple attacks coming in. Gunk and Zaldrun are up, so you're both going to get 1. Piercing sting on Gunk.
I think they should take Zaldrun's body as an offering and leave us alone.
I
Zaldrun?
believe you mean
Zaldrun?
Wolford.
Wow.
I mean,
Wolford.
No.
Wolford. We all got it, though.
That is 1 success on Gunk.
Wolford is out.
It's pushing
So,
it into the water.
Gunk hasn't gone yet. So does that mean I can still fast
can
action
dodge,
dodge?
yes.
All right, so I'll give that a go because I don't want to take any damage because I hear that's bad. So do all right, and I will take an audience dice because I don't, as I said. Yeah, I'm good. I got a 6. Yep.
God damn
I only
it.
need to match it, right?
Okay, so with monster attacks, they just need the success. You can cancel successes, but their damage is a static number. They do weapon damage too. So with a dodge, you're taking away a success. You're right. So it's not a success. Yeah. My bad. So you dodge it entirely. That barb comes at you, and you just kind of like duck your head down, and it, do a little football spin. And you're really mostly underwater already. So it's not too hard to like shift your weight around, and the barb goes right past you. Zaldrin, I rolled Deathly Embrace for you. It attempts to ensnare you and squeeze the life out of you. However, with my 7 dice, I rolled 0 6s again. This tentacle, go ahead and describe how it like tries to grapple you, but you get out of it.
I mean, clearly, Wolford is being used. His body is sort of like, I see it coming, and I'm just sort of like kicking it with Wolford's foot, basically, as I'm like dragging Wolford along.
All right. And that brings us to Gunk. And with the retreat rules here, let me go ahead and reread that. But what would you like to do, Gunk?
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
Of the tentacles that are on us, do any of them look just massacred?
Yes, but unfortunately, it's the one that's furthest from you. The other ones have been injured, but not as much.
Okay. If that's the case, then I am going to... and we have established in the fiction that Gunk is swole and ripped and shredded. And we are in the water and bodies are floating.
Yes.
Gunk is going to try... He's going to put one of his claws on Mirren, one of his claws on Bacho, and he is trying to ratty paddle as far as he can. I'll roll whatever check you want me to roll, but he's just trying to flee with these two.
So the flee action is a fast action, and you do not have enemies within arm's length, so you roll for move. And a successful move means you get away, your conflict is over.
Okay. I am, however, taking 2 people with me, so how do you want to handle that component of this?
We can say that counts as your slow action, grabbing both of them.
All I have is my slow action left because I did dodge.
Oh, okay. You already had one of them. Let's go ahead and make it a minus. Let's make it a -1.
Okay. So I'm still wrong, but I can try to push and drag the 2 of them.
Because
with me in the water.
They're fairly buoyant. The reason she was being pulled down was because she still had that tentacle wrapped around her. So they're going to be able to float, and they're both like semi-conscious too.
Sure.
So you can just basically swim across with them.
Okay. So it's move -1, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. I will audience dice to take away the penalty, basically, to cancel that out. Then, all right, here I go. Does my swimming bonus come into play at all?
It actually would, yeah, +2.
Okay, sweet. Thank you, sir. All right, here we go. Oh, that's a roll right there. That's 3 6s and 3 1s. So I'm gonna take the 6s and not gonna push.
Wow.
That's like I always do that in this game. I roll like tons of 6s and 1s at the same time.
All right, so you said you were saving Wolford and Mirren, if I heard correctly.
Do it. Nope.
All right. You start swimming. You don't even care where the path is. You can still see it, but you're just going straight to the stairs.
Away
and
from
you make
them.
it to the path closest to the stairs, with both of them, basically one under each arm, and you're just paddling as hard and as fast as you can. One of these tentacles is going to attempt to follow you, but you see that it gets caught up on the pathway that you cross over, and it starts slashing out at you, but it cannot reach you.
And I will, noticing that, I'll shout towards Zaldrin.
I'd be like, come quickly, it cannot reach us. Come to us, quick. Leave Wolford. Feed him to the tentacles if you have to. Whatever. Just come. You are far more valuable.
I'm coming.
All right. Mirren and Bacho are down. That brings us to Zaldrin. If you don't get out of here, there will be 2 tentacles taking hits at you.
I hear you. You are trying desperately to kill me. Message received. All right. 1 attribute dice, 3 2 move dice, and an audience dice. That is a 1 on an attribute dice and no 6s on skill dice. And it's a move, which is agility. And if I re-roll that, I would be broken. So, yeah.
So you can push right now and break your agility and still get that move off, or you can try to re-roll with your fat or your slow action. Basically, take the action again with your slow action.
I'll take the action again.
Okay.
Another audience. Sorry for that. That was loud. Sorry about that. Trying to actually take down those.
Oh, actually, let me point this out.
I am, Ashley. I am using the dice.
If the roll... Oh, never mind. My bad. I misread that. Go ahead.
Okay. That's a 1 on a skill die and still no 6s. So I'm going to re-roll that.
You got this.
You got it. Come on.
Come on.
Hey, that's a 6 and no 1s.
Yeah.
There you go. And of course, you're grabbing Wolford on the way out, right?
Yes.
If you want to leave him, we can count that as a coup de grace where you would have to make an empathy check to let him die.
Oh.
But all you have to do is fail the empathy check.
All you have to do is fail. And honestly, with the way your dice have been rolling.
Right? No, Wolford's
All
coming
right.
with.
So there are 3 tentacles. One of them very injured. The barb has been completely cut off. The other 2 have like scrapes and slashes, but they're still mostly intact. They're all trying to reach out at you, but none of them can reach you as you gather on this platform here. We can breathe easy. You are all still alive, albeit just barely.
Oh, thank you, audience, for all of those extras.
Yeah, no, good. And
we needed them.
And thanks for the 10 audience die re-roll your critical hit.
I was going to mention that for Mirren too. So I wasn't just playing favorites there.
Oh, sure.
There's precedent because we did that in Mothership too.
That is true. We did actually do that. Yeah.
All right.
Not that it helped Ashley because
it didn't help Ashley.
No, she still rolled.
She's still
all right, so these tentacles are still thrashing. The splashing is echoing. The waves are coming at you. They seem angry and frantic and desperate to get around you and just pull you back, but they cannot reach you. You can take a moment to gather your breath here. You can start heading up the stairs. What are you guys doing?
I'm
being unconscious.
I'm dragging Bacho and Mirren up the stairs if they're not conscious. So I know that Mirren's unconscious. Are they both unconscious? I'm trying to remember the broken rules. I always get
they're
my years
broken, semi-conscious. They can't really take actions, but they are aware, let's say.
So I would say Gunk is taking no chances. He's doing everything he can to pull them up the stairs and out of this room, out of the reach. He doesn't want to tempt fate by trying to do a heal check yet. So all his strength trying to drag them out.
I'm tempted to ask for a roll here because it's Mirren and Bacho and they're not going to be in the water anymore. But the tentacles really can't reach you, so you can take your time with it. And I assume Zaldrin would be helping as well. So between the two of you, you're able to get all 3 of the broken people up in the stairway. It's a very narrow stairway, so it's difficult. It's crowded. That water is still cascading down. So people that are lower, they're getting like splashed occasionally. It's not like you're being waterboarded or anything, but it's just flowing past you. But you are all in the stairway and safe.
Once we are safe, I will try as quickly as I can to make some heal tests to get to unbreak them at the very least. Does one of them look particularly worse than the other?
I would say
Just
they all
turn
look
it
pretty
over.
bad. Wolford probably looks the worst.
Okay, well, in that case, I will do Mirren first. Okay. I got 1-6, so that should unbreak her and restore her to one strength, basically. I won't push it. One's enough. She can move. And then I will turn to Baccio, and I will be like, "Don't you do that again." I don't know if you can hear me or not. Leave me. I'll kill you if you try to do that again.
He reaches one paw up and pats him, like on the leg, just with the last of his strength.
And that's two successes. So Baccio, you actually get 2 strength back, and you're unbroken.
Thank you, brother.
I need to move. Oh,
Yes.
gosh darn it. He turns over towards Wolford. Fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
Zaldrin
look, I
sort of
failed
like,
that
we've got one more.
I really did.
Um,
I'm not
You
going to push
failed?
it too. I'm not going to push it because there's a 1 and an empathy die, and I don't want to do that because I only have 2 empathy left.
I can have a go. Thank you, Gunk.
So glad you're up, Mirren.
Yes, Zaldrin, thank you as well. I saw your spear come down through and get that tentacle.
That was a very dangerous place for us to be.
I'm not very good at times when I can't reach the ground at all. Mirren will kind of go over to Wolford and like give him a little bit of a pat down because I do have 4 empathy, so my heal isn't the worst.
I thought you were going to say you're robbing him with the pat down.
Does he have anything? I already robbed him. I have his tablet.
Yeah, you do.
Baccio hikes a leg while Mirren's patting him down.
I didn't roll a 6, but I rolled 1. I'm still going to push it because I still have 4 empathy. So I'll just take the damage and roll again. Nope, just that 1 on the empathy and no heal.
Your disdain for Wolford overcomes your healing abilities.
I tried my best. Yeah.
Is this one of those, like, is there a limit to how many people can try to heal somebody?
I don't actually know. That is a good question.
I don't know if it's
recovery,
like you can only try once a day or some kind of thing like that.
Further healing rolls have no effect. The same person can only try once, so someone else can try.
Okay, I'll give it a whirl. Me and my 3 empathy and 0 healing. Can I give it a whirl if I have 0 in healing?
Yeah, you just roll your attribute dice. It's the slap some dirt in it.
Right. Hey, no, 2 1s and a 3.
You tried. It's a good effort.
If you want him saved, I'll just drag him out by his ears and you'll see if he wakes up.
Wolford is partly conscious, but as you're pulling him over, you see he did take a critical injury. One of his eyes was gouged out by that barbed stinger, and he's now missing his left eye.
Is it hanging down or is it gone?
It's gone, and it even like broke some of the bone there, and just left a like line, kind of like it crushed it in.
Baccio sticks a taloned finger in the eye socket a little bit and swirls it around.
Give me an empathy check.
He did save you.
This isn't a hard one for me to mess.
No one's told him yet, though.
But apparently we were sort of conscious.
No, I get a 2 and a 3 on my 2 empathy dice, so I'm not trying to kill him. I'm just,
No, I understand. We're gonna say
because Baccio's dark secret.
yeah,
is
that's what
he
I was about
likes
to point out, but I didn't want to give it up.
Yeah.
What's the dark
Go ahead,
secret
say
again?
Yeah.
Okay.
His dark secret relates to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Go ahead and describe how this is happening. Like you do it. You get it successfully. And it kind of, because you failed, it kind of shows a darker side of you.
Yeah. So Bacho leans over and his muzzle is just right in front of Woford's semi-conscious face, and he's sniffing, and he looks at the eye, and he grabs his other ear, and he's holding his head up, and he goes, you finally suffered. And then he takes a taloned finger and he sticks it in, and he swirls it around, trying to feel for the last edges of that optic nerve, and then he just twists it a little bit. He's like, you could have got my pack killed. And then he just tugs a little bit. And then he pulls his talon out, licks his claw clean, and says, let's drag him out.
And Wolford rolled a D6 for recovery, and that's how many hours. He rolled a 6. One of my very few 6s of the night. So he's going to
sure
take
we
a
have to
while
drag him for the longest amount of time possible.
Yeah, basically. Right. It takes a while to get up the stairs. It helps that you're moving now, but you're just so tired after that fight. It drained you. The swimming, the fighting, the injuries, carrying Wolford. So you're going up, but it's a little bit slower than it was before. There are a couple pauses in this stairway that's so deep or so long that you just stop for a moment, gather your breath, and then continue going up. And finally, you can see not necessarily light because you didn't leave a torch up there, but you can see the opening of the stairway. Bacho, I assume you're still holding a torch, right?
Yes.
Go ahead and make a roll for the torch because it has been a bit.
That is true. Here, where's my torch? My torch is a D8. Oh, hold on. To the dice bag. I got a 4.
4. Okay, that's good. You still have torches.
Yep.
You continue up the stair. You see the opening. A little bit of hope comes back to you after what you've been through. But that hope is also almost immediately buried by the trauma of how close you guys came to almost dying. But you made it. You come out, and as you're stepping out of the retention pond, who's in the front? It's normally Bacho. Yeah?
Probably
and then
still
Gunk right behind?
Yeah.
Gunk would be right there. Gunk is also in fairly decent shape, so he doesn't mind taking lead if necessary. He didn't really take any hits, actually.
Well, Bacho's about half strength right now, so he still would be moving to protect.
Okay.
Gunk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mirren's
but you're right on
just
heels,
like
Gunk.
holding on to Zaldrin so that she doesn't slip back down with the water flow.
And Zaldrin's the one carrying Wolford up. You're being a little more gentle with him, but he's still like hitting every step. You just can't avoid it. No matter what, he's gonna
flipped him so that his head and eye hole are away from Bacho.
So his head is bouncing on the steps instead of his feet.
Exactly. He's got like 10 concussions by the time he gets up.
Well, at least the water is washing out the injury. Bacho and Gunk, you're right behind him. You come out of the retention pool, and you actually do see a light on the far side of the hallway. There's another torch over there. You see there is a halfling holding the torch. This halfling... No, Mirren, you're fine. It's a male, and he is equipped. He has the biggest backpack you guys have ever seen. It would be big on Zaldrin and Bacho. But he's still carrying it, and he's got the torch out. And you hear, holy shit! There are people here. They're alive. You guys see.
Oh, God.
I'm going to.
He's got a picture. I can switch back.
He's got a torch up. He's got the massive bag. He's got a little cap and the ears come down. And he's carrying a tankard of ale as well. Like he's not even in a dangerous place. When he says that, you see 2 more figures come out from the tower that you guys entered from. One of them is a massive Wolfkin, one of the biggest Wolfkin you've ever seen. He's wearing chainmail. He's got a heavy flail and a big old shield. And he just lets out a low growl. Right back. Yep. And then there's a older man. His hair is thinning. You can't really tell his age. Like, he's not elderly, but you can tell that he's seen some miles. His skin is leathery. He's got a little wisp of a beard, like he hasn't been able to shave lately. And his eyes are kind of sunken in. He speaks out. Who are you?
Who are you to ask us who we are?
We've had an ordeal. I don't think this is the best time to sit and swap stories so much as pass out. Are you going to attack us right now, or can we just go into a corner and pass out for a while?
He kind of like looks back at the Wolfkin, and then two more people come out as well. Female orc and then another male human. There's no reason for violence.
Excellent. I have been beat up by tentacles and I cannot swim very well. Thank you. I'm going to go over there now.
Tentacles? You mean undead?
No, I do mean tentacles with barbs on the end. It was unpleasant. You see this? And I like lift my shirt where a tentacle probably had wrapped around and a barb pierced in through. This fucking hurts.
Feel free to go down in the waters and see for yourself.
Do you
There's
need
some
healing?
still alive.
And then at this point, Mirren and Zaldrin, you would have been able to come out. The elderly man steps forward, but he motions to his companions to like stay back, in a gesture that seems like he's trying not to provoke you. And he's got his hands like not up, like he's worried about you, but he's letting you see where they are, so it doesn't make you feel on edge. However, these people are all very heavily armed. They obviously came in here expecting some resistance. My name's Alwyn. My companion's here. And he points to the other human, Rickmar. The halfling he points to Donald, the Reaver, and then Mika is the orc. These are all in your notes as well that you guys can keep track of. He comes towards you.
These are my companions, Bacho, Mirren, Gunk. Mirren speaks for us all. This was quite the ordeal that we had. We're not looking to raise our weapons again today.
And there's one more of you. Do you need healing? And he looks down. Wolford? Wolford? What happened to Wolford?
You know him?
Of course. We go way back. He's a good friend of mine.
Well, if you can wake him up, that's fine.
We were unsuccessful. Zaldrin sort of shifts how she's carrying him as if she was being a little bit more responsible with that.
Any friend of Wolford is a friend
poor
of
judge of character. Oh, that's right.
He beckons, and the other male human comes forward. This guy's got shaggy hair, really large ears, big bushy eyebrows, and a goatee that is immaculately kept compared to the rest of his head. It looks like he spends a lot of time keeping his goatee perfect and just ignoring the rest. He also looks like a bit of a soldier. He's got some leather armor. He walks with a bit of a hitch. There's a little bit of a limp in his step, but he comes up and he rummages through his bag and he starts attempting to heal Wolford as well. What happened to him?
Same thing that happened to all of us. It was beneath the water. There were tentacles and barbs and all that, and we all have taken some blows and ultimately had to retreat.
And it's at this point Alwyn notices the stairway in the retention pool. You found it, didn't you?
Gunk
We found
will
it.
get chesty. Yes, Jungle.
Yes, we did. Were you unable?
Where is it? He's looking around, and Gunky looks right at you, and he sees the crown, but he doesn't like recognize it or anything like that.
Where is what?
The treasure. Where is it?
It was, we went down, there was water and the tentacles. We didn't get that far. It's so dark down there, and our torches went out. Except for Bacho got his back up on lit again.
We would have been in much a better mood had we retreated with treasure, but we did not.
Mirren, give me a manipulation here, and this is going to be contested. Don't worry, I've been rolling poorly.
I might take an audience dice for this one.
Sure.
Thank you.
It says in the rules up to 3 people can assist by giving the player a +1. Is that something we
How
can
are
do
you
here?
assisting her lie? If you can give me a good reason to assist her lying to back it up, I'll give it to her. Absolutely.
So Bacho looks, he's like, do you think we would have come back up here empty-handed if we'd had any chance against the horrors in that water? Look what they did to your friend.
Absolutely. What did we get, Mirren?
All right. I am going to roll. Ooh, I have 3 6s, a 5, and a 4.
All right.
Thank you very much for the support.
He
The
had
first
2
time
6s,
Bacho has supported my
so-
life.
Yeah, Bacho, you got the signal finally.
Yeah, he finally figures it out. He's like, oh, I see.
Oh,
Well, no,
jazz hands.
somebody threatening the pack. We're going to go crazy.
Alwyn gives a nod. He doesn't question it, and he seems more concerned. So you say there are tentacles. How? 1 creature, 2 creatures? How many? What are we?
They were in the depths. I think it was just one. I could only smell 1 scent. But the tentacles writhed up throughout the entire area down there. Whatever it is, it must be massive.
The depths. You say it's flooded down there? There's
Indeed.
water from the lake?
I don't know where it came from, but
And he gives a you guys catch he gives a look back to his companions who have moved closer, and they can tell like you're not aggressive, so they're not trying to provoke you either. But he gives them a knowing look, and you see the orc female just nod back. Well, it's dark out. We will be staying the night here. I assume you will as well. You seem like you're not fit to travel. Perhaps we could share a campfire. You can tell us more of what you saw down there.
Drying off would be very nice right about now.
He gives them a nod. And Donald, you hear a couple of them lovingly refer to him as Pinky. He pulls off the big backpack and he starts going through it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get you guys the best meal you guys have ever had. You're going to love this. And he starts building a fire in the middle of the hall. He's got all sorts of pots and pans. And Mirren, you would recognize he's got plenty of like pouches of spices and things like that. You get a little whiff of the scent, very much reminding you of home. They pull some benches around. You guys already had a fire going here, so it's not too difficult to set up. The rest of his companions do kind of do a once over, looking at these dead bodies and kind of like stabbing them a couple times, making sure that they won't come up. But then you can all settle in, and then you start exchanging stories. I assume you guys, do you want to tell them the full story? You want to like omit the treasure details, that kind of thing? Yeah. Are you going to omit the other secret room that you found, the dormitory?
We didn't find anything in there.
With some candlesticks and some coins.
Yeah. We did find this, and I'll like activate the lever that allows the door to open. But the dust like nearly made me pass out, so it is still a room of caution.
Without words, the Reaver and Rickmar, the guy with the hitch, they both go in like almost in formation. They've got their shields touching, and they go in. A couple minutes later, they come out and they give Alwyn a nod, suggesting that there's no danger. As you guys spend some time around the fire, you start eating. If you guys want to eat, you can roll your dice. Same with water. You have the fish for those of you who don't have dice. You can both eat a unit of fish if you'd like.
Sorry, what is your name again, good sir? Who's cooking?
Donald, but everyone calls me Pinky.
Hello, Mr. Pinky. We caught these fish earlier today. Are you able?
I'm on it. I'm on it. I got all the spices. I got all the salt.
Oh, that's great.
It's gonna be some fish jerky. You're gonna love it.
Yes, we hope that it'll last a little while. If you could, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, and he'll expertly start filleting these fish. And he pulls out this iron rack, basically, and sets the fish on there, and they start drying into like jerky strips that you'll be able to store long term.
I made my my water and food roll, and I did not get ones on either dice.
Awesome. Gunk, how about you?
I am down some water, so I just riddled it in the system, but my food's okay.
Okay. Mirren and Zaldrin, go ahead and do your water as well. You don't need to do food right now because he's cooking it for you.
Okay, got a 3 on my water.
All right, so that doesn't go down. Mirren, I believe you have a D8 as well. All right.
Got to pull out the D8 for rolling.
How are you guys handling this situation? What does it look like for you? They seem friendly enough. They're definitely on guard, and they like are giving each other looks every now and then to try and gauge their own reactions. But they haven't said anything that seems really suspicious or anything like that. They do have, after the Reaver and Rickmar started search that room, the Reaver kind of posts up by the retention pool, and he just stays where he can like see down the stairway a little bit, just like as a guard post, basically. So what are you guys doing?
Bacho would post up. I'm assuming we make our camp a little bit away from theirs.
That's fine. Yeah.
And Bacho would post up when he was not himself resting between the two camps, so that if they decided to take some aggressive action, he'd be able to warn the others to run.
Yeah. So you guys are actually going to be closer to the exit then, if that's the case.
Yep, that's the plan.
While they're a bit closer to the stone face that's pouring out the water in the retention pool in the stairway down.
So is Wolford with their camp or our camp?
You guys still have Wolford. They tried to give him first aid. They were unsuccessful. So it's going to be a couple hours. Yeah, I rolled poorly. So he is still with you though. And they've definitely asked questions about him, like asking about like, where'd you meet him? You know, that kind of stuff. They don't seem like they knew him recently, but they do know him fairly well.
Mirren is going to play very much the host, very much like the helpless halfling. She's definitely playing that up quite a bit and hoping the truth of the secret door helps hide the lie of what we actually did down there.
We'll keep that manipulation that you already rolled going. So you're playing that role perfectly.
Knowing that we're here until kind of like Wolford gets well, Mirren is also going to see if she can't learn some of the chefing skills that she lacks from this other halfling, if she can like work closely and watch him a little bit more.
Yeah. If you guys are taking a quarter day, it is late. So you'll need to sleep instead of train. But if they're still there in the morning, he talks and, oh yeah, I'll teach you the best tricks. I know how to slice a fish. I know how to slice a cow. I know how to slice a goat. I can cook anything.
Excellent. I've recently, I know how to peel a potato, but I mostly sat in the kitchen and helped my grandparents and listen to the stories. Honestly, you know how it is with halflings.
Any child can peel a potato. The key is to season a potato.
Yes, if you could just show me how to do it better than I am doing it right now.
And with you playing up that persona, Pinky just completely buys into it, and he's the friendliest of the group by far. Alwyn definitely seems to be their leader, and he's asking questions that are polite but a bit more pointed, trying to get more information out of you. You guys learn as you're sitting, you're on different sides of this hall, but you're still easily able to hear each other. And Alwyn has kind of come over to you a little bit. He's not like in your camp, but he's trying to talk to you. And he tells you their story, that they're a group of adventurers as well. And they've been delving in this tower quite often lately, looking for exactly what you found.
I'll leave Gunk and Zaldrin to tell some tall stories then.
I think Gunk is going to be back to a corner, staring out, ridiculously paranoid and suspicious of them. And he has the treasure. It's on his head. They clearly didn't recognize it, but he does not trust any of the people, especially once they say they're friends of Wofford. And that's actually not just a joke. That's true, because Wofford is not a trustworthy man.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
And so the whole time he'll probably stay as quiet as he can. He'll probably be very quiet and just watch. Like, just watch them, their behavior, their tics when they talk to one another, like their mannerisms, when they listen to Mirren talk or Zaldrin or Bacho, just trying to get any sense of things.
You mean insight?
Okay.
I am but a weak, tiny halfling.
Yeah, Mirren is talking them up, so you can get a +1 on that.
Okay. Can I also get in on that? Try to see what they're up to.
Yeah, you were in between, so like Alwyn would probably be closest to you. Mirren's talking to Donald.
Okay.
Zaldrin, what are you doing? If you'd like to be helping as well, you don't have to.
So we are not all the way back out to where like Ven
No,
is.
you're still in the hall. You have the whalebone arches above you. There's decorations of like fish and sea monsters on the walls, and then there's a tower that'll lead out to the lake. But you also know that it's pretty late. It would be very dark out there, and it wouldn't be good to travel right now.
Yeah. I'll just be telling superficial stories of like traveling around with Ven, and just nothing that is at all revealing of anything we've been doing recently.
Jeff, I saw you said you had 2, but roll one more
successes.
for Zaldrin.
One more. Okay, sorry. I had 2 successes, so and yeah, I didn't get anything with Zaldrin. Still 2.
All right. The first thing you notice, aside from Pinky just talking Mirren's ear off about all sorts of spices and how to cook things, the Reaver, they never actually call him by a name. They always refer to him as the Reaver, and he has not spoken at all. He's growled, not a single word. Mika, the orc, she is very methodical with her movements. And as you're listening, you learn that they all have like little nicknames for each other. They call her Twitches quite often. You definitely get a sense, especially with your ability to sense this type of thing, that she can harness some magical ability. It doesn't really show like what she can do, but you can tell by the way she's moving. You know, you've studied this sort of stuff. She has some sort of capability. The other human male, the one with the well-groomed goatee, they call him the Vet. And then Alwyn, you don't actually hear the nickname more than once, but you hear Pinky say, "Oh yeah, the Thumb doesn't like that." And then he immediately takes it back. I mean, Alwyn.
The Thumb? You kind of broke up a little bit. Okay.
Yes, the Thumb. Alwyn seems very aware, and everyone kind of respects him. You see that they can kind of bicker with each other a little bit, but when Alwyn gives them a glance, they calm down or they go to different places. They may not necessarily get along with each other, but they all seem to listen to him.
Okay. He'll tuck that away if nothing seems immediately like aggressive or like they're planning something or anything. Like if that's that, he'll let sleeping. He wants to get this night over with as fast as possible and put as much distance as possible without causing trouble.
But Jeff, I'm a game master, so I can't let that happen. I can't let a night happen as fast as possible.
You quite literally nearly TPK'd us.
I warned you all. I did warn you all. You thought I was not being serious, but it turns out
we tried to run right away.
You warned us after we were already in the situation. Warning implies before we get to the situation.
This is true. I believe Gunk has a point here.
All right. Before you actually get to rest, like I said, Owen's been asking pointed questions. And he starts a little bit more polite, asking details about you, like how you got here, that kind of stuff. And then he starts trying to get more details. So
who is he talking to primarily?
It would be mostly Bacho, but all of you would hear it. Zaldrin and Gunk, you're basically focused on all of them. So you would be able to interact with this. Zaldrin, you're not far away. You're at the campfire. You're not necessarily talking to anyone else because everyone's spread out. So he's really just asking the group these questions, but Bacho is closest. So
speak plainly. What do you want to know, human?
How'd you open the stairway?
I didn't. I don't understand this stuff. But it's open now. You're more than welcome to it.
But who opened it? How'd you open it?
I will leave you to figure that out. You're clearly smarter than we are.
Clearly not. I've been here several times. I've never opened it. I'm impressed. I think you would want to share tales of your exploits. It's very impressive. Lots of people have died in this temple, and the stairway has never been found.
You think wrong. I don't care about sharing my exploits. I just care about sharing my meat with my pack. And that's it.
He kind of looks over his shoulder. How about you, Zaldrin? Did you open it?
No.
No? Turns to Gunk. Did you?
Why do you care so much, old man?
Like I said, I've been here many times. I'm just curious how... This is your first time here, I assume? And you just stumble into it.
When I was a young pup, I had an older sister, and she tried to teach me how to grow things out of the earth. Very foreign to me, and she would constantly try to do this. And she would go out there and she would grow, vegetables and such. And I could never do it right. Ever. I tried over and over again, and each one of the vegetables that I planted either died, withered on the vine, or came out sort of mutated, grotesque, inedible. But my sister, well, she had no trouble at all. No trouble whatsoever. So I've accepted the fact that I will never grow all of the wonderful things that she has, and that I will never learn the secret to her skill in doing so. I suggest you take a lesson from that behavior.
I mean, no offense. I'm curious. He looks at all of you like he sweeps, even to Mirren, who's closer to his camp. Do you even know what's down there?
Clearly tentacles with barbs and things that try to kill you.
Let me tell you a story around the campfire. There was once a sorcerer that was so great that skalds and minstrels told tales of his deeds all across the Savage Seas. He gained his power through artifacts that were taken from the Kadarin, the children of the gods. Some were willingly given to him, and others not. This sorcerer became so powerful that they were able to touch the mind of a first one, as I was told. And I was told connecting minds with a being so ancient and primal, it was closer to being shown the threads of the universe rather than the petty telepathy that sorcerers practice. The sorcerer, he knew that such a feat could have dire consequences if another mage was able to replicate it. So he became the unsung. The unsung rewove the skeins of the world. He made it so that skalds and minstrels were never able to spread tales of him, that it was as if he had almost never existed at all. All traces of him erased. He was just unsung. But here's the key. Not all knowledge of him was erased. He left a trail so that the smartest, the bravest, the wisest could follow. He left these tablets carved in this sort of ancient language. I can't read it, but it's very interesting. And it can only be translated by those who are, I've been told, of the strongest will. A great enough mind could theoretically replicate the results of the unsung, his ascension as it was written, if all the pieces were gathered. A piece that is down that stairway right there. What happened was he sealed each of these artifacts in a vault. Each of the Kadarin has had a temple, a dedicated holy site for centuries. And he, without them knowing, hid each of their own artifacts under their noses in a vault that's just sealed so perfectly that even the gods themselves, if they had wanted to, would never be able to open it without a special key. We don't know where the key is. How'd you find it? And that's where we're going to end the session.
Oh, we're going to have to run from these people, that's for sure.
I got no
jealous.
Giddy up,
He
jealous.
is jealous. He's very jealous.
What's curious is someone who can't be told stories about or sung about, and yet this person is able to talk quite heavily about this unsung person.
You can ask reasons next session.
So I'm assuming we will not have gotten our rest in between now and next session.
You will not have, unfortunately. As a good GM, I will stretch out this rest another week. Those of you in the chat, if you're interested in reading that legend instead of hearing me, we have a wiki. Jeff, what is the link for that wiki? I forget.
That is a great question. I will find it. Keep talking.
We'll get it up.
We have a wiki that has all the lore drops that I give to these players. It's got the maps, it's got session summaries and stuff like that that you can click on and reread at your own leisure. It has the Ascension in there in the histories. We're going to do some shout outs and then wrap it up. Aaron, what's going on at Garblag?
Let's see. There will not be any Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition next week or tomorrow on Garblag because it's Jim, the GM's anniversary. So happy anniversary, Jim. Then on Thursday, during the day at Garblag, or at least during the day, Great Britain time, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, there may be something going on. I think Pete might be doing a dev stream, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I can definitely tell you that if you come back at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at Garblag Games on Thursday night, you will see Jeff and I punching Nazis as we come in towards the last location for the Shadows of Atlantis. So that campaign is about to wrap up.
That's been a great campaign, and that's the same 2d20 system that you've been running in Conan, right?
And
but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Similar. It's close.
Similar, yeah.
Very similar, yes.
Jeff, what do we got going on with Gaggers?
Yeah, man. This Friday, I think we're finally back to Blade Runner. Illness and family visits pushed us out of 2 consecutive sessions, so it's been a month since we played, but we'll be hopefully back to Blade Runner on Friday, continuing our Memories of Fire campaign. Saturday, we'll be doing some One Ring, as we just had our big celebration this past weekend, so we're on to 51. Nothing to celebrate anymore, and it's just the road to the end now.
It's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill. Next Monday, we've got Call of Cthulhu so we're playing Horror on the Orient Express, a very, very lengthy campaign. We are young pups in that campaign, but we just started it up. And then obviously we've got the YouTube channel. Just look for Adventures in Lollygagging. We've got tons of games up there from the past. So you can see if you have to catch up on any Forbidden Lands or any of other games, go ahead and check that out as well. If you can, give us a little subscribe over there, follow the channel, all that kind of stuff. And go check out the last game Steven ran on the channel, Haunted West, which is up there as well. But yeah, I think that's it. Unless you have anything else.
Yeah. Do we want to raid someone?
I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to raid someone. So go ahead and click the raid button when it pops up. If it pops up for you, follow those people along. And that's it for us. So have a good night.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night.